Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I am back with meditation, and I'm hoping that this thing will actually work because I've been having some issues trying to get this thing to like stay level so it doesn't like slip and slide all over the place. I've got it sitting up on a vase, which is why it's like changed a little bit because I got it a little bit higher, and it looks a little bit better. I don't look so flabby here on camera. And which is kind of like been kind of annoying to me because I'm trying to lose weight as is, and that just makes me feel like I am not being very successful at it. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do the meditation, and then I'm going to do some cards. But because I don't want to shift out of the thing, I just want to make sure that this is good. Okay, let's see. Hopefully it'll stay. I've got the stuff shoved around and stuff inside the behind the phone so that it'll it will actually film right. So at any rate, so today I'm doing day number 7, and today is June 30th, 2025, and I'm calling it Empowering You because that's what it actually, to me, represents, is this notion of empowerment and being able to find the empowering feel or the empowering force. And instead of pulling cards first, my desk is a mess. Instead of pulling cards first, I'm going to show you the card that I pulled the day that I did the meditation initially. The card, says Love Matters, and it's this image here. And I think that's so beautiful. And I think that is so, to me, that is what we need right now in this world more than anything else. We need that love, empowerment, and we need that feeling of love that is in each of us, that it's present there. Today is day number 7, it's June 30th, 2025, and it's Empowering You. I'm going to pause this for just a second and close the door because the washing machine is... Okay, here we go. Okay, yeah, it was kind of loud and I didn't want it to be disturbing for the meditation, so here I go. I said, so here I am, 2 weeks have passed, and we've had some ups and downs. But at this point, I'm feeling the need to coming back into the swing of things. And Ramon says, welcome back. At this moment is a good time for you to be back. I'm hopeful that you are rested and refreshed after the time you have spent away. I said, I'm finding myself no longer caring about the analytics or about explaining myself for being quiet. I am doubly hopeful that you and the others are not saddened by that. Ramon says, do take the time to talk to us daily. This is not anything for you to worry about needlessly. I said, yes, trying to navigate things is not exactly easy. And Ramon says, well, then let's get going. What do you have for me today? I said, okay, so this is what I wrote on that particular day. I say this because as I wrote this down, my husband was here. Now he is at work. He's not here. Sitting in silence, I can see over my shoulder, my husband is quietly at his computer, relaxing after a long day at work. The only sounds I hear are the soft clicks of a button as he moves his mouse along. As I look around the room where I am sitting, I can see the sun is beginning to set and soon the blue sky will fade into darkness. And Ramon says, you always see the symbolism of the beginnings and endings of the sun rising and setting. There is a feeling of harmony, of intended internal harmony with this. I said, yes, as a child I loved the stars, of the notion that somewhere out there's someone looking at those very same stars and feeling a sense of comfort in them. And Ramon says, why is that? Is it your fascination with UFOs and things that humans do not understand? And I said, maybe, but I think it draws me back to my dream, the one where I had some 30 years ago that I still remember today. The message in it was very clear, specifically about the state of our world and ecology. I mean, look at what we could accomplish if we had our priorities in place. If we could look at the world and see the planet as a bountiful thing and not as something to exploit and abuse. And Ramon says, your keen understanding and awareness of this is a gift. Your logical side meshed together with your whimsical nature. In reality, you have a keen understanding of what is truly important. It is not important for you to do. It is so important for you to do what it is you are doing right now. You are taking an earlier meditation and feeding the nuggets of wisdom that is contained within it. You do this when you are able and are able to see the balance in all of this. This is why it is significant and important. I said, I know there's a bit of a digression in my trying to read the cards helpful in all of this. And Ramon says, what do you think? And I said, well, I think it does help my connection with you. And Ramon says, well, then there you go. Continue, please. I said, in all the things going on around me, I feel a sense of gratitude. The world outside my home may be going crazy, but yet I'm still here. I'm healthy, whole, and have things I need. Yes, I know that sometimes the world seems crazy, but what really matters most to me? You wrote that Ramon says, you wrote that over 5 months ago, and you have seen it get crazier and crazier since then. I said, yes, it has. What shows that contrary to all of the struggles and issues I must contend with, love is the most important thing, and I must see from within. As I look to this card that is before me, I realize that the number is 43. Sorry, it's backwards, but it is 43. The fact that the card has the number 43 holds significance to me. The card says love matters. The number 4 has 4 letters and the 3 has 3. And it says love you. And to me it means, and it says love matters, but to me it says love you. Is it a surprise that the creators of this deck set that intention with this particular card? And I have to go back a little bit here, because I missed an entire section. And I said, Mr. Rogers used to say the word 143, and 143 means I love you. 1 letter, I, 4 letters, love, 3 letters, you. I love you. 143. So that is what that number actually means. And so when you have a card that says love matters and it says number 43, then I interpret that with love you. And yet they called it love matters. So I thought that was very interesting. Okay, anyway. Ramon says, it was divinely inspired. How often do you get messages from cards? You've been pulling some cards for a while now. You're getting better at it. You understand that there's a certain power of what images tell you. It is no different than hearing a song and finding inspiration from that song. I said, I remember when I was going through chemotherapy, I would listen to a song called Sensation by Adel Tawil before the treatments. And it's a lesser known song by him, but it really helped me get through the chemotherapy. I would listen to that each time I would go, and it was sort of like a lighthouse beckoning me to the port. And Ramon says, it is significant. When people say that cards are evil or that contacts with the spiritual world is wrong, what about music? Do they scoff off that too? Do they tell you that feeling a sense of joy upon hearing a certain song that speaks to you is of the devil? The use of cards is no different than getting inspired by music. When you were sick, you found optimism and hope through the words of the song. These words inspired you to seek out and find the sense of hope and harmony through the text and the flow of music. I said, why do people affix their labels to things like tarot? And Ramon says, people fear that which they do not understand. It is like the years when you studied Russian. You did not do that to become a secret agent or jump into the world of espionage. You wanted to learn so that you could better understand the world around you, so that you could connect with people. You do the same with the radio, with pen friends, back when you were a teenager. You want nothing more than to understand the things that you would otherwise not understand. People fear those things, and because they think because they do not understand it that it is wrong. When you brought your first deck, you bought it because it had images of cats on it. This appealed to you. Now you have several decks, which you can show on here. But let's continue. You still have 3 pages to go. And the deck was the cat tarot. Not cat tarot. It was the cat wisdom that I used in some of the videos. I said, okay. I do not know if the creators of the card expected or planned this, but what I do know is that the imagery depicts a woman extending her hand to a dove of peace. I imagine that this bird is filled with trust as it lowers its body to her outstretched hand. Does it sense that she means it no harm? And Ramon says, indeed, animals have a keen understanding about humans. They know if harm is intended. This is an important piece of imagery. You are perfectly aware of this idea. I said, does she feel a sense of honor and knowing that this beautiful bird has put its trust in her? Her expression is filled with a deep sense of love, regard, and dare I say, respect. Respect for the beauty of nature and a sense that we are all internally connected with each other and the world. Love is truly the most wondrous thing that there is. And Ramon says, you have indeed demonstrated this. The love that is shared with the world is far more significant than the notion that the people have for stealing someone else's ideas or expressions or experiences. And I said, I recall an episode of Touched by an Angel about a young boy or young man who wrote a poem about his experience on the bathroom wall. And after another young man came in and stole the poem and tried to pass it off as his own. When confronted, he could not recite the poem, but instead was humiliated when the actual author came out and expressed what the real meaning of the poem was. I thought of this when I heard about the people stealing other people's spiritual readings and trying to pass them off as their own. Ramon says, you must continue because the next part shows that those who steal from others will never have the authenticity that you have. There is no reason to steal someone else's experiences. So each person has his or her own, and indeed their own experiences. I said, okay. The sense of delight and the internal knowing that a vast world is a display of love, that love matters. We cannot harm those we love. We cannot bring ill will to another if we love them. We only want to bring positivity, harmony, and well-being to those around us. So as long as we hold on to the idea that the greatest of these is love, then how can we rest in the notion that fear is also in residence? Many say that the opposite of love is fear. All the dark energies resonate in fear. They thrive on chaos and delight in someone and delight in the sorrow and sadness of others. Ramon says, yes, since sadism does exist, it is the sadness of a moment that is lost because love is lost. And I said, there's nothing loving or humane about that dark energy. There's only sorrow or sadness. This is why it is so vitally important for us to only rely on the good, in the love and in the positivity that embodies the emotion of love. It can be practical, it can be a good deed, a kind gesture, and goodness to the reward we receive for our good works. It does not always come in the form of reward. It's depicted in the story, The Copper Coins. It comes from the positive emotional response that we experience through the thoughts and actions that we choose to undertake. And Ramon says that is why it is so important for you to continue and never give up. Keep sharing your light. As you nurture this light, you will see it grow. And I said, love matters. It sustains us and our world. It expands to the universe and touches those who have gone before us. It will endure because it is more powerful than the darkness. May it hold you and bless you today and always. And Ramon says, and so it is. And that's where we end it. So I finished one notebook and I started a new notebook today. So I have that. I'm going to put these down here and I'm going to grab my cards. Okay. So I haven't done this in a while because I've been a little bit busy with everything. I have to explain where I was and why I haven't done anything. We went to Friedrichshafen over the weekend. We were there for the weekend. Just for Saturday, we went to ham radio, which was like really fun. We got to see a lot of people that I hadn't seen in a while and make some plans to get together at a later date. I noticed that a lot of stuff was going on over the weekend. I noticed that a lot of people were, kind of dealing with stuff, coping with things. And I have to say, at ham radio, I mentioned something. I started talking to a guy from the States, and the guy said that the U.S. had a lot of problems. And I made a sort of a snarky remark, and I said, yeah, a big fat orange problem. And what really struck me about that, it was just a sly, snarky comment. And the guy looked at me and he said, hey, no politics. And I said, okay, no politics. And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. But at any rate, the fact that I said this and he actually knew what I was referencing is really quite telling. And it says something about the state of the world. We are in a very tumultuous time right now. And yes, we do need a break from it. We need to break away from it, break free from it, and stay away from it and stay out of it for a while. And I think that this is something that is becoming more and more obvious the longer, the longer this goes on. We need to find some peace. We need to find a little bit of this. So I'm going to pull some cards and I'm going to see what the cards have to tell us for this week. Are things going to get better? Are things going to get better for us? Are we going to start seeing some positivity going on? Are we going to see some positivity in the world happening now? We've already seen a lot of negative. We've seen, we've been through the muck and the yuck for the last month or so. And now I want to see if we've got something good coming. So guides, come on, help me out. Ramon, you were here for my meditation. So help me pick the cards that'll tell us how the week is going to go. We are at this position right now where things are starting to change, and I think things are going to change. And I feel very optimistic that they will change. But let's see what the cards have to say. Also. One more? Okay, one more poker shuffle. Oh, he said show the base. Here's, I got the Ace of Swords. And I've got the Nine of Pentacles. I don't know what that signifies, but that's what's on the base. And Ramon said I should show those, so. Okay, so here we go. So the card that I'm pulling is Judgment. And Judgment, I think that's kind of speaks for what's going on. I think people are starting to see what is going on. Or if they haven't, they definitely are seeing what's going on. And I think that the Judgment card is about, determining right from wrong. We are in a position right now where everything feels like it's just cattywampus, topsy-turvy, and a bit on the crazy side. And right now, we need something that's going to change things. It's going to alter the course that we are presently on. The lighthouse bringing us in, the lighthouse motif and being brought into harbor. And I think that the Judgment card is kind of that. It's kind of this idea that we have to see something happen. We have to see that this the evil in the world is going to be put under a microscope, and it's going to be judged, and there's going to be something going on. This makes me think of that bill that is in Congress right now that they're trying to pass, and people are seeing it for what it really is, and they're making determinations on it, and they're putting the Congress people under a great deal of strain and stress because of that bill. And I think that this card is kind of a depiction of that. Okay, and it's crossed by the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles is the internal feminine energy. And she's a very sensitive, wise queen. And she is not, she understands that what's going on is not good. And she is aware. So there's this sort of awareness. And I think that what's happening is that it's crossing this. So people are making their determinations, and they're using their sensitive nature and their sensitivities to determine it. Sorry about the cards. They're shiny cards. But there is it's crossed by their sensitive nature. They know how this is going to affect them. They know what's going to happen to them and how it's going to be and have an impact on them. And so that is what it's crossed. The underlying energy is the Wheel of Fortune. This is what's in the past, and this is the turning. This is what, how are we going to decide what's the decision that's going to be made that's going to have an impact on what ultimately will happen. And I think that this card actually depicts that that kind of uncertainty, but that there is coming to a point where there is going to be a decision made, and that people are going to have to make a decision about certain things, and they're going to have to see if what they're doing is right or wrong. In the immediate past, we have the Star card, and the Star card has the lady with no top, so I'm covering her so that YouTube doesn't get mad at me. And the Star card is enlightenment. I see the star as the enlightenment, as being enlightened by what is going on and by what is happening. And I see that that this is coming to pass, that this is starting to create a thing. We've already got 4 cards, and we've got 3 major arcana. So there's going to be a lot happening this week. The next card is the Knight of Cups, and the Knight of Cups comes up quite often in my readings. I don't know why, but I get the sense that the Knight of Cups is the overarching energy, and he's ready to rear back his horse and charge into battle. And I think this is what we are all feeling right now. There are protests planned, there are things planned, what have you. As of this weekend is another protest, but I don't know if we're having one here. And I'm not really planning on going to another protest right now because it is too hot, and we are having a heat wave in Germany right now. So I'm probably going to stay at home this weekend. But this is the overarching energy. This guy's ready to go. He's ready to charge in, and he's not going to take any slack from anybody. The next card I get is the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups emphasizes chaos. You have all these options available to you, and things are in such a chaotic state right now that there's really not really any real possibilities here. People are angry, they're upset. There's a lot of chaos going on, and they're trying to figure out a way to pass this bill, and they can't. And so this is the chaos that's going on right now. The next card is the Five of Swords. Okay, look at this. I get this card a lot too with regards to the current regime. You've got this guy here's hoarding the swords. He's holding one up going, yeah, I got the swords and everything. But look at the guy in the back. The guy in the back is weary. He's holding his flag, and that's all he can do. He can't do anything else. He's just absolutely out of it. He's not in the state that he wants to be in. And this is becoming an issue with him, that this guy here is so full of himself, that he's got all these swords and that this guy has nothing, but yet he is the weary person and he's the one who's not supporting that person. So I see what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a lot of people who are saying, you know what, we don't like this, we don't support it, and they're calling Washington and they are telling people, look, you vote for this, you're going to be in trouble because we ain't going to vote for you. And we're going to remove you from your job. You have a choice. And you do not want to be this guy. You just don't. Okay. And the next card is, there's a lot of swords energy here. This is the Queen of Swords, another queen, feminine energy. And look at how careful she's holding that sword. She's very, very, she knows what she has to do. She's got a light right above her head, right at the top of her head. She's got a light there. And she's holding that sword and she's saying, I will use this if she's looking like she's saying, I'm going to use this if I have to. And there's a light on her and there's a light on the sword. And then right above the sword, there's a huge light. So she is, I think she's like somebody who's not really willing to, she's not really willing to put up with anybody's nonsense. And I think that that is how we see ourselves and how we see this whole situation that we're in and how we want to approach it. How others see you is the Ace of Pentacles. This is a new beginning. This is a new start, and I'm drawn to the little. I'm not sure what that is. It looks like the color of a fox, but I'm not sure what that animal is. I can't really tell, but it looks like a little fox. The bottom of the card. I felt immediately drawn to him. I tend to feel drawn to the animals in the pictures because I love animals. So, but new beginning, new start, and maybe just a change. And the final outcome, the Four of Pentacles. Again, the hoarder. Okay, this is I don't know. This gives me this sort of energy that this thing is going to pass, but it's not going to pass in the way that people think. And people are going to look upon this guy and say, what a jerk. He's the hoarder. He's the jerk. He's the idiot that's pushing this thing through. And, you know, it may, you know, I know that this sounds really awful, but things may have to get really, really bad before people actually wake up and realize just how much of a deterrent this person is to them. And I don't see this being a very good outcome, but I also get the feeling that that it has to get pretty bad before it can get better again. And I think that that's what a lot of readers are getting. That's what a lot of people... I'm going to draw one more card. See if we can... The card I drew is the World. Endings and beginnings. This is the last card in the Major Arcana. And this is... it looks like a card of victory. That regardless of how bad this might get, we will come out on top. We will reign victorious, if you will. So that's what I got. I hope you have a great day. I'm going to see if my husband's on his way home. He has a short day today, work day, and we have to go to the store, and he has a doctor appointment later. So I have to get going. So I wish you a wonderful day. Hope you have a absolutely fantastic day. And thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing. Summertime is very difficult for a lot of creators. People are so busy. There's so much going on. People are like off on vacations or doing all this other stuff. So the fact that you kind of came in and watched this video means a lot. And I appreciate it. And listen, and on a more serious note, yes, there are channels that are swiping intuitives work. And people work very hard on their channels. I will never, ever steal anybody's ideas to get subscribers. I will not do it. I find it shocking that there are people who have more subscribers with stolen material than I have. But that is no excuse, and it will never be an excuse for me to go and swipe somebody else's work. These people work very hard on their channels. They put a lot more effort into their channels than I put into mine. And I just absolutely, if you see anything that looks like somebody's been stealing somebody else's work, report them. Report them to YouTube. This is for entertainment only, but nobody's entertained by somebody stealing and swiping somebody else's work. So if you see it, report it. Let people know that you will not watch videos by people who are swiping other people's work, because that is just, it's not only illegal, it's also not fair, and it's not right. And spiritual people who call themselves spiritual people going and swiping somebody else's work is just beyond the pale. Okay, I have very strong feelings about that. I will not do it. I do not condone it, and I do not want it. And I do not want anybody swiping other people's work. I don't like my work being swiped, and I've had people swipe my stuff and try and put their name to it, and it has made me beyond angry. It has made me infuriated. So, with that said, I don't want to end on a negative note, but I do want to make that point clear, that nobody has the right to swipe somebody else's work. And people should respect other people enough to not do that. Okay? So that's my stance, and that's how I feel about it. I feel very, very strongly about it. And so I thank you for listening. And I will be back again, hopefully tomorrow, to do another meditation. I'm hoping to get back into the swing of things now that I've gotten my phone. I'm a little bit higher up, and it doesn't look like I'm so, fat in the face. So take care. Have a wonderful day. Sending love and light to you all, and many thanks for watching. And as always, namaste.